It feels like the first time. It feels like the very first time.
It feels like the first time. It feels like the very first time.
Hey guys, welcome to the First Time Show. We're back. And it's just the three of us this time.
It feels like it's later than we've ever done this.
I'm going to throw Chris McCaleb under the bus because when we originally set up this show, Chris McCaleb wanted in. And I've invited him to be a guest on every episode since episode 2, and all I get are excuses.
Wow.
Come on, Chris. I got up at 5 a.m., got on a plane, flew across the country, and still watched this episode and got here to record this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Now, let's talk about Alana's hair.
Let's talk about Alana's hair really quick. Alana, what do you want to say?
Can we get a new segment, Alana's hair?
Alana's hair, yeah.
I want to say,
Everyone
out
shut up. It's Alana's hair.
Oranger than I expected, but I love it, so I'm leaving it.
I think you should carry it through October.
I know, it feels very fall, so I'm in.
Well, you either gotta love it or hate it. Guys, welcome to the show. We're talking about Lovecraft Country, episode 5? 6?
6.
Episode 6. Holy shit.
It's called Ding, Ding, Ding Goes the Trolley.
Ding, ding, ding goes the trolley. It's called Meet Me in Daegu or Daegu. I don't know how to pronounce that. But
I don't have it in front of me.
It was directed by Helen Shaver. And
This was the best directed episode. I know it's a little easier to be the best directed because it's so stylized, but this felt like a Takashi Miike movie.
Yeah, I loved the design. I loved the sets. I loved the costumes. Alana's gonna gush about the costumes, which is totally expected because what a feast of the eyes the costumes were in this episode, and it was just a beautiful looking episode. But it's not like blowing my mind.
Wow, I feel like we've traded roles.
I love
this
it.
season.
No, I love it.
I'm with Steve.
I'm enjoying it, but nothing is making me feel how every single episode of Watchmen made me feel.
Oh.
Or how every single episode of Leftovers made me feel, even if it wasn't very good.
Well, I think Watchmen
This is a different show.
I know, but I'm talking
Did
about
you know that,
3
Steve?
different HBO shows with 3 very
Different lead
challenging
characters.
human
I know, but I'm
stories.
saying totally. I feel like they're doing something different. They're telling stories.
I know. I guess what I'm saying, what I mean by not being blown away is that Watchmen blew me away in almost every way. Visually, with the visuals, with the acting, with the writing, with everything. Every
agreed.
element blew me away. And this show is killing it in so many ways, but none of those killing it's are blowing me away.
Costumes. Costumes are blowing me away, but outside of that, okay.
Like the casting and the
cast is
the
good too,
casting
yeah.
and the acting and
Acting's very good.
the visuals and the historical
Yeah, the
stuff,
historical
important
Easter eggs
stuff is
blow me away.
chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Story is did we need this episode?
I kind of think it's the telling of the story
Man,
that's.
I don't know what when this is all over, meaning life, and I'm able to look back on. I feel like there's this dichotomy of this show where we all have to play a role. Because going into this episode, I was like, oh, well, this is an episode I'm going to hate because it's not pushing the story forward.
Opposite for me. I was like, I'm going to love this episode.
Me too. I'm going to love it.
At the end, I was like, this show is blowing me away because it just did that. Like that episode to me, the fact that came in the sequence of last episode and then the preview for the next episode looked insane. The fact that they stopped and made like a borderline drama. That's why I said Takashi and Miike, because it's so much a drama, and then they just kind of like the horror elements are secondary.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it was more like a fairy tale
away.
Than a horror.
Yeah.
Tale.
What's Takashi? Who's Takashi?
I was blown away with this
Miike?
episode because I also feel like it sits within the stair stepping of this show, where now it's like, okay, now there's like a shaman, and there's like magic.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess there's always magic, but it's like
Yeah.
there's these other elements and other like cultures playing into
Yeah,
it. Now
for
it's
sure.
like, I feel like now we're on the fucking road to chaos.
I mean, I loved all of that stuff. Like,
Same.
I really loved the lore and the fairy tale aspect and the story of the nine-tailed fox or whatever, and the I loved that little, like, I loved that, but like nothing was like nothing. I wasn't like, the only thing in it that was something I had never seen before was the like CG tails
Also,
thing.
the CG looked great in this episode.
The CG looked great.
True.
The creature design or whatever was maybe the most surprising aspect of the episode, and everything else was just kind of like, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the guy fall in love in the medical thing, and
No, this one was
two people
sweet.
come
I
from
liked
different,
it.
and the two people coming from different worlds, and like learning to love each other amidst, like, in the midst of a war, and like, it's just that storyline is just kind of like done for me. Like, I liked how cute it was with the movie thing, and I loved how she knew about the Count of Monte Cristo movie and he knew about the Count of Monte Cristo book, and they were like comparing their nerdy notes about it. That part was really cute. And then when he surprised her with like a movie, that was like, great.
Yeah.
Love it. Perfect little love story. I love it. But like nothing else was like really great to me.
After watching
All
it,
those things you just said were great.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Steve and I
And then
talked.
the episode was over.
Right.
Yeah.
Steve and I talked after watching it, and we said we were saying that like everything on paper, like technically everything that happened in the episode was incredible. Every element we loved, everything we
Yeah.
loved. So then why did we leave the episode feeling like just like, oh, okay, that was fun, instead of feeling like, oh my God, because everything was so good in it. But why didn't I feel more? And I feel like that kind of goes back to the previous episodes where there wasn't a lot of space for us to like feel through the experience. It was kind of like, here's the setup solved, here's the setup solved. So I don't know if maybe it's similar to that. To be fair, I didn't hate the episode by any means, but I just, there were so many elements about it that I loved that I was confused why I didn't love it as a whole more at the end, I guess.
It's just funny to me because I was like, I finished the episode and I was like, this is great because we're all going to love it. I'm not going to be the outsider being like, ugh, I don't like it.
I'm remembering how it ended and how unsatisfying that ending
Maybe
was.
it was related to the ending.
And how,
I don't know.
and
Which
really,
we haven't got much from this show.
the thing is like a story like that needs to end with like a bang, some kind of like propelling you in, making you excited about that storyline and that character potentially joining up with Letty and Tick in where are they, in Texas or wherever they are? I forgot where they are. Chicago. Like meeting up with them eventually, like the idea of them meeting up and joining together and having her fight along with them or something, it like should be exciting and cool, but it's like I don't even really know if that storyline is like worth coming back to. Like,
Whoa.
I liked that.
because Tick and Letty are like the love interests to me.
Yeah.
And I want to see them
Okay.
so badly get together, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, never mind, here's someone that Tick absolutely fell in love with, like maybe they could have gotten married if things were different. And suddenly, because she was like a weird creature thing, which he's now inundated with, he's like run away from her, and now we're gonna get this fucking love triangle thing, maybe. I don't know. I just don't want that to be what happens. I want something more exceptional than that. And it would have been more satisfying if there was some sort of connection between her
I agree.
and the lore of Atticus's story.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
instead, it's like here's a Korean fairy tale in the middle of a Lovecraftian ghost monster story.
Well, a
show.
Korean horror tale,
Sure,
to be fair, but okay.
and it's cool. Like if that's what if we end up looking
Foxtail.
if we end up looking at the whole series once it's done, and it's like peppered with all these different types of horror genres and tropes and things, then I will probably love this episode more. But in the scheme of the story that I'm interested in, I don't need another character and another character's journey and another like through line on top of the one that's already like just wavering on being very good but close to being like too much. And I just don't want to be in it. I don't want to be overloaded with all of these stories that like won't have a satisfying conclusion or won't. I just want to focus on this Tick, Letty, storyline. I don't need like more stuff. I don't need more characters with
Do
more
we know?
curses
Is
and
this
stuff.
a one and done, one season?
I don't
and
know.
They're done?
I don't know.
If
not-
we haven't
yeah.
heard it, then they're hoping for more.
Yeah.
Is my assumption.
I mean, if it was like
They would be
Lovecraft Country
telling us.
renewed for season 2, we'd know about it, I think. Yeah.
Really? Oh, I was saying the
I'm gonna
opposite.
Google.
Well, because I follow all the film Twitter, nerd Twitter people, and I swear
Mm-hmm.
that would be all over my timeline.
Yeah.
Someone would have texted me.
Yeah, I think if there was more connection between that episode and the rest of the story, because if I was just looking at it as its own thing, I think I would like it more than
Yeah.
looking at it as an episode in the middle of the show, just as related to the rest of the show.
And that's why I'm saying if the show ends up being more like that, like if we get another episode, because it looks like we're straight up getting like a time travel thing in the next episode.
I can't wait for the next episode.
I know.
Spoiler alert for people that don't watch the preview, but we've gotten enough emails from people
It
that
looks
say
that
they
way.
do. So, but if it turns out that like every episode is some kind of different Lovecraftian genre or
so
like
far,
horror
that
or
seems true.
pop culture genre, which so far seems to be true, then it'll make that episode maybe work out a little better for me. Even more so if like I gotta be honest, man. I don't really care if that girl gets rid of the demon thing.
That's the thing, because you're still more concerned about Tick and his
Yeah.
shit, that you're like, well, how does this fit into my caring about that? Because I'm only going to root for one main outcome.
Like start the whole show with like their like meeting in Korea and then get into like all the Lovecraft stuff, and then maybe I'm like she's a part of this story. But to me it just seems like
I mean, I also kind of, at the end, having it end on the note of she went to that
witch doctor or shaman
Shaman
or whatever.
woman.
Yeah.
because she was concerned about, it seemed like because she was concerned about what's going to happen to Atticus, like she's like asking her, is he going to die for real? Because that is her motivation. Seemingly, it confuses it further to me, because it could have just been her story, and it would be more about like, well, how do I continue existing and living with my mom and with myself and what's going on?
Well, my question was, if she gets the demon out, will she not be in love with Tick anymore?
Yeah,
Is
those
the
are great
demon in love with
questions.
him?
Because she might be the daughter. She might just turn into that woman's
daughter.
Yeah.
These are all great questions.
How about what a great meet cute though.
Great.
Oh my
Shot
god,
her
their
best
love
friend in the
story.
head.
But that's the thing. It's
Their
like,
whole love story kills me, and it's really hard because that I already really like Letty so much.
But
She's my
that-
favorite.
yeah,
So how
yeah.
am I like I'm conflicted with how much I love their love story.
But not only that, it's like that was a movie.
But they're both great. They're all great.
That was a movie I'd watch and enjoy,
Yeah,
and
that'd be a
like,
great feature.
Or like, it would be a great movie I'd watch and enjoy and probably really love. The guy that falls in love with the girl who's cursed with a demon inside of her.
She's a kumiho.
She's a kumiho. But like, I just don't think it's like it fits. It's a movie that fits into this movie we're already in. That's where I'm at.
But that's what I think is great about this show is I don't know what fits.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's unclear, and I would be curious to see, and would certainly revisit.
But I just don't think I've ever watched a show where I'm 6 episodes in, and I'm still trying to figure out what to expect from the show week to week.
Yeah,
I
and
think
I
that in itself, to me,
Brett
is
likes that,
interesting.
and you and I don't like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I'm fine with it. It's just that I've seen enough shows like
Who's got
that.
control issues here?
I've seen enough shows like that. I just want a really good story, and I want to learn really cool shit. You know,
This would have been a cool movie just as is with
Yeah.
10 more minutes where she had to go like
save
kill
him.
one more dude so
Yeah.
that she could be human and love him. But when she kills the other dude, she like doesn't remember him.
Yeah, done. Perfect. Incredible.
Yeah, but that doesn't solve
Good
her
movie.
being worried he's gonna die because she saw his death.
This isn't part of Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, this is
me
a
and Alana's
separate movie.
oh,
we're making.
I see. This is a
This
different.
is a
movie.
separate project. Yeah.
Also starring Jamie Chung because I love her.
Right, because she's incredible.
She did
in
a
it.
great job.
Anyway, but otherwise, it just seems like I think we're gonna get kind of like a looseness as opposed to a tightness in these
This
episodes.
just feels like the Lindelof playbook. It's like you got to have one that's a flashback that's totally
Right.
separate, that's kind of chaotic, that is a little disruptive.
which is cool, but I just don't think it's just weird to me that like we were brought into this world of magic and demons and monsters and ghosts and shit, but like our main character already had an experience like that, and I just don't know if it works that like he wasn't ready for it when he saw it again. You know, like when he's seeing it for our first time, when
Seeing
we're
what?
like
her.
monsters or like Lovecraftian creatures in the first episode, it doesn't feel to me like this is the second time he's seeing some crazy shit. And I just feel like that's part of that looseness I feel from each episode is like there's some loose threads that don't feel tight and secure and locked in to me. It seems like writers' room arguments or things they're overlooking or things that they have figured aren't important. Like in the last episode, we didn't see how what's her name? What's Letty's sister's name?
With an R, Ruby.
Ruby. How we
Ruby.
didn't see Ruby get from the department store back home covered in blood and shit.
The
Like I
loose
think
threads.
they decide what to show us and what they think is important for us to see, and it doesn't always align with like how I think a story like this would make it tighter. And I just think that like that's all I want from this show is like a little bit more tightness in things like that. And I've yet to see it it's consistently loose to me.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall I just was prepared to not like this episode and turned out to really like it.
Well, I'm happy for you.
and
that
now I'm ready
happened.
for that next episode. It looks crazy.
Dude, I'm always down for a time travel
Wait, but-
thing.
Before we go past it, can we talk about some things this episode did do really well
Of
and
course.
really interestingly,
Please.
though?
Please, I'd love it.
Because I want to point
a
out.
little too late for that, but sure.
Excuse me.
You can't you can't make a turd
I'm down
pretty.
here with Chris McCaleb, just taking shots in the dirt.
It's Chris McCaleb's fault I didn't like this episode as much as you did.
Well, I cheated again and I listened to the official podcast just to get a bit of insight, especially on this
When do
episode.
you listen to it?
It's-
You listen to it between watching it
Yeah,
and recording
the
this?
second we
Yeah,
finished
she's
the
proving to
episode,
us that
I put my
this is her
headset in
job.
and because I want to
Wow.
be with a show like this. I feel
You
like
know
I
what?
want to be able to
I
bring
know,
some
I-
educated thoughts to it. Oh, thank you. Because there's always so much tricky, interesting, important
Listen,
shit that
your
like I miss.
efforts are appreciated, respected, adored.
Thank you.
You're
Don't
saving people like a whole podcast. They
don't
even have to
hold
listen
me
to
to
it now.
Exactly.
them all the way.
Well, no,
'cause,
that's okay.
There
We
might
just-
be a day where I can't.
We just respect your opinions
Well, thank you.
because they're yours.
Well, they pointed out some good stuff in there that I'm like, you know what? That's true. We should acknowledge that. For example, that they told this story. First of all, they made the parallel to this show is about America in a lot of ways, and that they're telling the story of America in this episode from how America affects the rest of the world. And I think that's really interesting, to be telling an American story about America from the people who get brought into America who aren't American.
Mhm.
Right.
That I think is really cool, really interesting. And I really do love that the whole episode is about and in the perspective of Jamie Chung's character, because first of all, she's a female, she's a foreigner, she's an Asian woman in an American war, or a war started by America. Like, all these elements that usually those characters are always the like secondary.
Sure,
it's never
yeah.
from their perspective. So to have all of that happen in this episode was, I thought, so incredible, and I very much felt like the first time I was seeing a lot of that stuff, which again is why I'm sad I didn't like it more at the end. But anyway, still important stuff. And they pointed out that in this episode, they made Atticus her love interest instead of having her be Atticus's love interest.
Right.
And although I don't know if that serves the overall arc, I do think that's a beautiful and interesting way to watch this, and not often shown.
More interesting than the other way.
A lot more interesting, and a lot more like giving autonomy to these people who are usually like side characters, especially again like a woman, and especially an Asian woman in a war that America started in Korea. Like, yeah. Anyway, all those things. So I wanted to give acknowledgement and appreciation for that, even though we didn't love it. There are some parts we loved.
Was this
I
part of
loved it.
Alana's thoughts?
No, I just wanted to. I mean, you guys have feelings about
'cause they
this
didn't
too,
put a
right?
Theme song.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
why don't you
What?
guys have feelings about what they did really well or
Yeah,
interestingly?
no, I
or,
think-
it's
I
not
think-
just my thoughts.
I think I agree with Brett. It is the best directed episode so
really.
Yeah,
I feel like
because I
far.
thought
It felt
that
like a film.
directing.
It felt like a
But
good
when I say
film.
directing, I'm not just
Yeah.
talking about like the visuals of it. It tonally was
Right.
the best. I thought I
Right.
thought it had the most consistent.
It was
tone from
consistent,
start
yeah.
to finish. It did a lot with very small moments. Like they made you really fall in love with these two in a way that is
Yeah.
hard to do in a
You
single
wanna
episode
see
of
them
television.
together.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know what? That was
Yeah.
my favorite scene. The scene where Jamie Chung's character goes into the military camp area. That was
Mhm.
my favorite scene, and I just love that. I felt throughout that scene that accomplished the getting me to, as an audience member, to feel the catharsis. But like, I couldn't believe that they got me to feel so identify with her and be so scared for her when she's entering the camp, like that everybody's treating her as though she's like a prostitute or something, a comfort woman. And just the fear of that in that environment, like you could so easily just be like raped and murdered and thrown on the side. Like just the fear of all
Well,
of
the
that.
fact that he was
being a
like,
woman-
oh, when I'm done with her, you guys can have,
Yeah,
can have
like-
her or whatever. Yeah.
I felt all of that so deeply. I felt all of her fear about Atticus. Like, is he really not who I thought he was, or what's going on here? I felt all of the levels and every single moment and twist of emotion. And then when it turns into this incredible thing, and then the second I saw him with a white screen behind him, I was like, oh, he brought her the movie. This is incredible. And just like, I felt every single piece of it and was like, so well done. I'm so happy.
I just loved how they like took this bleak setting and visual tone
Yes.
and juxtaposed it with like 40s show tunes throughout, and like the whimsy and color of those show tunes, and like her being aspirational to this thing. And then the way they presented her story was so like bleak and desaturated, and it's like, so, you know, the opposite of that. I loved the opening scene also.
Me
Just to
too.
call
Which
it out
ones
real
the
quick.
I
opening
love
scene?
That's
her
such a,
dancing in the movie.
Oh,
that's where she got
yes.
up and danced,
Oh,
it
and
was
then it cut back to
perfect.
show like, oh, she didn't really do that.
Yeah, I was like,
I
it's
love
me,
all
it's
that.
me. I was screaming. I loved
Yeah.
it so much.
Yeah, I loved a lot of those moments too, and I loved seeing.
I love this episode as a movie. Can it just be its own movie?
I know.
I love
I
it.
just feel like in the grand scheme of the show so far, it's just such a detour to take. But anyway, we kept talking about it. But
Any others?
let's keep keep talking about the good stuff. So I also liked the perspective of the war from the Korean side.
Yes.
And for seeing what it was like when the American soldiers just came in out of nowhere with their flyers. Don't worry, we're here. We're here to protect you or whatever. And then seeing the communism scare in Korea, and I thought that's something you don't see often in American content, in American cinema.
And you know the series, the chronology in that era, I don't know it by detail, but Korea was in the middle of oh my gosh, what's it called when a war is the same country against itself?
A civil war?
Civil war. They were in the middle of a civil war, which I don't know which part is the Japanese part. They're in the middle of a civil war, and then immediately World War II is going on, and then they have a 5-year gap from no war, and then the Americans come in and do this Korean War stuff. So they've been like in desperation at war basically in their country for like ever, for as long as anyone can imagine, really.
And her name is Ji-ah?
I have to see it written. I don't remember.
It's Ji-AH, which I think is Ji-ah.
Yeah, probably. Gia.
I also liked the scene when she was like,
oh yeah, they kept calling her Gia.
She was getting to know Atticus and he was healing, and she didn't understand that black people were how they were treated in the U.S.
Yeah.
She didn't know that they weren't equal there. And that was a really important moment that I also found really touching and well done. Yeah. Yep. I liked it.
So much.
I
liked that
cool
the
shit.
writer, that whoever wrote this episode felt the need to call out that when she sings Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas and Meet Me in St. Louis, it is one of the most tragic and heartbreaking scenes in any movie from that era. Also, it's the first time that song was ever sung. They wrote that song for that movie.
Wow, shit.
I don't
And
know
I
if
love
I've
it so
seen that
much.
movie. What movie is it?
Alana, what are you doing with your life?
When we were watching
Meet
it, and
Me
I
in
was
St.
like,
Louis.
Steve, I gotta see these movies.
What was the one that
I
they
love old
watched in the
movies.
Meet Me in
camp?
St. Louis is incredible.
Okay.
Which was the one they watched in camp? It was
I can't remember.
Man, I'm thinking of
If
so
I-
many
if I pull
moments.
it up,
It was
I could
another
tell
Judy
you.
Garland movie, I thought.
There are so
Yeah.
many moments in the story too, just like how they have so much about like a girl on girl friendship. Like it seems like it's going to be bullying at first, but they allow it to develop into a friendship, which is like you never see that story, and that happens in real life. I loved that so much. I loved watching the story of like a demon person being humanized, for lack of a better term,
right.
and like
Mhm.
how she's learning how to like fake feeling things from watching the movies and all this other stuff,
And also how
and
Atticus,
becoming a person who can feel.
and
Was
also
it Easter? Was it Easter Parade that they watched, or was it
Easter
Summer Stock?
Easter Parade was earlier when there was a
was
bunch
it Summer
of people.
Stock?
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was.
What were you gonna
I
say,
could be
Steve?
wrong though.
Hold on.
When fuck, what was I saying? Shit.
Atticus something.
What were you talking about?
I was talking about how they had the girl on girl friendship where it starts off seeming like it's going to be bullying and it turns into a friendship, and like we never
Yeah.
see that in anything. And then how she was taking her cues of how to be more human by like the movies
Oh.
and stuff.
Now I remember.
Yeah.
Atticus, how Atticus seemingly committed some pretty atrocious acts, and
The
she,
Summer Stock.
the summer stock. Okay, so it was. I just didn't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I just pulled it up. Yeah. So I was wondering if they were trying to call into question Atticus's morality for us,
Yeah.
the viewer.
Yeah, I
Well,
think they were.
Yeah.
They're also really like laying into that like war creates wounded people and
Well, I think
damaged people and that but the whole thing about like I was just doing what I was told is not a good.
I don't think that he makes that excuse.
He said that.
He
said he
says
was
it.
following orders.
He says it, but I don't think he's saying it in a way that like this justifies everything I did.
I'm
I
just
think-
saying that
I think
like
this-
just following orders is not like good excuse. It's not a good line
Okay, I can hear.
for
okay.
right now. like we're dealing with a lot of that kind of stuff, and we've dealt with a lot of that kind of stuff, and it just seems like if they want us to see all of these characters as more gray than black and white,
Exactly.
then they're really, really like dehumanizing Atticus, especially in the moment when she sees his life and he was like torturing a Korean woman
Well, was he? I felt like he was standing by and he was like sort of, because she can feel what they feel.
I thought he was like ripping out
she talked about
the tooth.
I took that to mean like she was saying that he had like empathy for this potentially, like terrorist or problematic person, I don't know, because
I didn't take
she
it
talked
as
about that
empathy
she
either.
could. Okay,
I took it like Steve.
fine, you guys. Listen,
Sorry.
listen. I don't need to be ganged up on tonight.
Listen,
okay?
there's no there. It's just that to me, it just feels like these characters do horrible things. In the last episode, we saw Tick's dad brutal. I mean, in the episode before that, we saw him brutally murder that woman, that person. And then like we see them have this like wonderful, triumphant, life affirming moment of where they belong and to not and to be themselves. And so they're truly showing us
dad beating him though.
I think
with a comical whip crack sound.
Yeah, that was
which really took me out of the moment.
And two of them, not just one, two.
It was like a cartoon sound effect. Which
That's
really,
what it sounds like.
It really bummed me out.
Yeah.
No, but what I think the whole show is trying to do, the whole show in my perspective is about monsters, main characters included.
Yeah.
People can be monsters and be good people. I think the whole show is asking that question. I don't think it's giving us an answer. I think it's opening the conversation of like, how are people monsters? When is it okay? When is it not okay? Can you be both a monster and not a monster? Like every question that goes under that like people and monsters thing, I think is what this show is about. So I think it's good that we're talking about it, but I don't think that they're trying to excuse anybody in the show. They're just trying to show very extreme different sides of the same person, and those can both exist. There's something they said on the podcast where they talked about the same concept, and they said, like, what do you think is the solution, like, to when people, this whole thing of like people can be monsters or they can be good people or whatever. What's the solution to that? And I think it was just the host kind of pondering, but one of them said the solution is finding love. And I think I second that. I'm so about that. And I think that's what this episode is definitely saying, that, but that the idea that like people can be all of those things. And at least, my feeling is through love is when you can be the better part. You can be your best self. You can be a better human with love around.
Yeah.
And this episode, because it's so fairy tale like, I think is a good example of that too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good and a lot of like, again, I just think it's like it's a really good show.
Oh yeah,
and I'm in love with it, and I'm in it for the long haul, and it's great. I just wish it was tighter. That's it.
Yeah, but even in this episode, they mention a bunch of times the like main like phrase that belongs to the friend who gets killed is, we have to stop letting their fear, like meaning the people who've hurt us, their fear shape us. Let's not stop letting our parents' fear shape us, or whoever it is who's like had power over you and hurt you. And I think that goes along with the whole monster thing. Like, what is it that's shaping you? Is it you? Is it the love around you that you're maybe embracing? Is it that you're actively not embracing love? Is it the people who hurt you? Like, what is shaping you and creating the monster of you or no? Maybe, yes. Thoughts?
Yeah, no.
Are these Alana's thoughts?
These are Alana.
I mean, we might as well just play it. Let's just play it so we can
Everyone shut up, 'cause Alana's talking. Everyone shut up, it's Alana's notes.
Love it.
No, I think all
It's
of
the
your
perfect time.
I
It's the perfect amount of time for a jingle. Like
here's
that.
the thing. There's so much to talk about
That's true,
with
that's true.
with this show. And every episode has no shortage of something to like talk about. I really think I think
Conversation starters.
If anything, it is doing that. It is creating a conversation out of like some incredible material and incredible actors, and it means that we could talk endlessly about all the subtext and like, you know, what this or that means and things like that. And I think there's no right or wrong answer. However you want to interpret a lot of these things, I imagine they're not going to explain every little thing. So however you want to interpret a lot of these, the you know, the imagery or whatever, I think I don't think there's wrong answers really, with a lot of the subtext and things like that, because I think it's also not that it's not incredibly confusing when you really like think about what each episode is about and what they're trying to say and the connection with American musicals and things like that. And there's a lot of really great meaty stuff there for sure. So yeah. Anyway, that's all I want to say about that, I guess.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
It's kind of Alana's time. Feels like here.
Well,
Like there's a lot of Steve's thoughts.
Listen, I was
Like
just
the theme song and everything.
I was just saying that I was agreeing with Alana's thoughts and I was underlining them.
He's being an ambassador.
I'm an ambassador for Alana's thoughts, and all of that was an offshoot of Alana's thoughts. So
Wait,
I feel like we're
Right.
still on brand and in theme.
Can I say my thoughts though?
Yeah, sure. Go
Because
for it.
Alana's thoughts is just turning into the fashion.
Yeah, sure. Go
fashion
for it.
talk.
Go for it.
Okay, boys and girls, guess how cute the clothes were on this episode.
I mean, as a butt.
I loved when she was standing there waiting for him and he told her to go away. And
Yeah.
He was like, "You killed my best friend." Whatever she was wearing then, I was like, I want Alana's opinion.
Yeah.
I love this.
I'm dead.
I felt the
love
same
it.
way about her outfit in the theater in the beginning. She had like a little
Every
sailor
single-
outfit on.
Every
And
single
I
outfit
really
she
liked
wore,
that one. Yeah.
100%. Every single outfit she wore killed
The little
me.
dress under the coat in her theater date. Are you kidding me?
Yes. Well, I like the coat as much as the dress, but yeah. Her shoes, oh my God, we got glimpses. I mean, the shoes where she's a nurse are like cute, but her shoes when she's going on dates and stuff, like
Right.
so cute.
Yes.
So cute.
Agreed.
Great textures, great fabrics. I'm assuming it's got, this costume designer has to be doing this on purpose, but I'm a big texture person. I'm very kinesthetic, and when I can see good textures in wardrobes, in costuming, in most things, even in like set design and props, it's so satisfying and it makes me so happy and excited and like lit up. And I feel like this costume designer is a textures girl because, you know, they're in Asia and they're in old US, they're in all these different places. They don't need to be having a variety of textures throughout each person's individual wardrobe, but they are. And oh my God, it's so nice to see.
Yeah. Agreed.
I have I just wrote there every single outfit I wrote, oh my God, that's so great. So I don't need to go through each outfit, but there was a great moment on the podcast for the show, the HBO official. They had Jamie Chung on for a minute and they were like asking her, you know, things. And she said, she mentioned a moment where she went into wardrobe. She like shows up on set and she goes into wardrobe and she's like, oh, it's just a merkin for the next 4 days.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because you do
Her
see
whole
a little
wardrobe
boosh.
is just like pubes.
Yeah.
Some puby bottoms. And she specifically noted that her merkin was delicately hand stitched. Like each hair nicely placed. She was like crediting how
I mean, those were some
nice it was.
Those were some juicy sex scenes.
There was so much merc in this.
It was like straight up like porn at one point.
Merc load, yeah.
Like I'm like,
I
whoa,
watched
that's
it in
some
the living room of my parents' house. I was like, I hope everyone's asleep.
like there was like maybe the most realistic like insertion moment I've ever seen in a cable TV
Yeah,
show.
truly. Very
It
realistic.
felt like at any minute I was just gonna see dong and vajayjh.
Yeah.
You know that Up in Smoke.
I'm aware.
Oh.
I've heard of a Dawn and a Vajayjh.
Dong and vajayjh.
Oh my God, delicately hand stitched merkin is
Yeah, I like a show that makes you that gives you a little something spicy, and then makes you regret being interested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
exactly what it
I like
did.
that. I respect that. Real quick side note.
Okay.
I meant to say this at the top and forgot. Did you guys see that Watchmen won Best Limited Series and Regina King won Best Actress? At the
No.
Emmys tonight?
Oh shit! I did hear people talking about.
I didn't know where else to put that in the show, but that was pretty fucking
It's
exciting.
perfect timing.
I think you did great, Brett.
So I thought I'd throw it in Alana's notes because apparently anyone can have notes. Just,
Yeah. Well,
what I
it's
wrote down.
we have seniority. We can add our notes at any point.
I
Okay,
like
cool,
you look
cool.
like you're in a windstorm a little bit, Steve.
Blowing that way.
Credit to my haircut on
Yeah,
you.
thank
Ooh,
you.
I
Your
tried.
hands wouldn't have nothing to cluck about if you had some cock-a-doodle-doos pecked in your own coop.
Best line.
Let's get
shoot.
into clips.
We didn't
Let's
take
get into
any
Let's get into
clips.
our one clip.
Well, Brett got a clip.
no.
All right, Alana, thank you for your thoughts.
Oh, I'm so happy to have been able to watch them.
It's clips time.
What the fuck, Jill?
The fuck, Tom?
Clips?
Yes. Clips.
Jackpot.
Clips.
Jackpot.
So, I mean, are you gonna choke me or what?
Oh, shit! We got a player here.
Your hands wouldn't have nothing to cluck about if you had some cock-a-doodle-doos pecked in your own coop.
All right. This is the clip. Brett got a clip. Here it
One
is.
clip.
One clip.
That was the one I repeated when we watched it.
So was she
I shouted
saying
it
that
out.
because she lived that moment and was saying it
Yeah.
out because she was living that moment from
Yeah.
his life?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is so great. Yo!
I also
Fucking
loved
explodes.
that guy was from Heroes.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was
I
Heroes'
did not
friend.
watch Heroes.
Much
Oh.
more ripped
Mm.
and older
A
looking.
little older, yeah.
Not bad older, just like he looks like he had a different energy, like totally different person looking older.
That's a great clip, Brett. Nice work, buddy.
Thank you. It was hard to pull clips in this episode.
I completely forgot clips were a thing.
Maybe some
100%
people have sent in clips. Who knows? We'll find out. But
Sentient
with
clips.
that, you guys want to get into some emails?
Hi.
Email.
Brett, does that
Time
sound
for
great?
some emails.
Took your top.
Look who's here.
Fuck your daughter.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, shit!
Billy Ray.
Officer Mustard Stain.
Time for some
Emails.
Your hands wouldn't have nothing to cluck about if you had some cock-a-doodle-doos pecked in your own coop.
I just want that to be the clip forever.
Me too.
That's the new jackpot clip.
Y'all hands wouldn't have nothing to talk about.
Without them
Trying
cockadoodle.
to get my hair windblown to the other
Yeah,
direction.
do it, Brett.
I'm working on it. My hair is not being cooperative right now. Get there.
All right,
Read some
let's
emails. I'll figure it out.
get to these emails. Young Wolfo sends an email saying, Ruby, Steve, I love you and all, but you thinking that Ruby raping the guy was unjust, unnecessary. Early in the episode, a black boy gets bumped by Ruby and her while disguises, and the police are ready to crack skull, even asking if he raped her, and still insisting that he did something. Oh, and are we forgetting the guy called the girl a dirty... Ooh, I don't like that word. And was trying to rape her? Well, yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of terrible shit happening in this show, but I don't think terrible shit deserves terrible shit.
It's more like what it says about the character, I think, was our discussion.
Yeah.
Like, does it make Ruby into, like... we don't want her to be a bad person, you know. But I still think the show's about monsters. Everybody's a monster in some way.
I guess it's just that, like, when it comes to
monster.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do in the last episode? Remember where there was a trigger warning? It
no.
stayed
Yeah.
in the episode, but it didn't go to the beginning. I forgot to do that. Oh well, sorry about that. I'm sorry, okay?
I listened to the episode and I was like, yeah, he forgot.
Oh no.
Sorry about that.
I also forgot that it was a thing to do.
but
We
what-
should
I did like that you call him out.
down.
Well, people get to see how the show is made. And it's like, they literally do. They literally got to
Yes,
see
they
it.
do. But
Oh,
I just, you know,
God.
when it comes to like the subject of rape in like films and television, it's always like, you know, even Game of Thrones like went too far with the rape stuff. And and I felt like they were using it as a way to like really shock
value.
you and take out pain in utilizing that particular form of abuse. And I just think that we have not dealt with that properly in pop culture yet, and we have
That's-
not dealt with that properly in a lot of ways yet, as to make people comfortable about even talking about it. And until we've figured out how to like respect people and the imagery that we just kind of wantonly show on television, I just think things like that should be reserved for a teaching tool or maybe a healing tool rather than for pure shock value or to show someone getting what they deserve in a television show, which should be seen as a something else.
Valid.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with all that. Anyway, yes, racists deserve some hell for sure, and especially abusive racists. But I think there's ways to deal with that. Like if a monster eats them, that's okay.
That's the rest of the email?
No, I'm saying that.
Oh. Okay.
All right, Tyler Lifford. Tyler Lifford sends an email saying, "Canada boy, Tyler Lifford here. Love you folks very much. Been watching for a long time. Before I start, one of my favorite episodes of the First Time Show is the Meemaw classic Popeye.
Oh no.
As a direct result, Popeye and its soundtrack is a running gag with my friends. Basically, the setup is I'll go to the bathroom and from the bathroom play Shelley Duvall's all-time hit, He's Large, as fucking loud as possible on the Bluetooth speaker. Gets them every time. That's a great one. I'll give you a honk for that. Love it. He's large! He's large!
I watched a little documentary video or whatever you want to call these YouTube videos.
A deep dive?
It's a
about
documentary.
Hook.
Oh,
And,
that's on that list you sent me, yeah.
Let's watch
Yeah,
it, boy.
in that they talk about Robin Williams was hesitant to do Peter Pan because he had just done Popeye and it went so poorly that he didn't want to mess up another like classic character.
Wow, what an interesting... I mean, at that point, it's like, you can't even say, like, but it's Spielberg, because it's like, you could say, it was fucking Robert Altman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wow,
Popeye was
what a
terrible.
decision. I'd hate to be in
Because
those
originally,
meetings.
I guess Hook was supposed to happen like way earlier.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be a
Make it way
musical.
earlier. Yeah. Spielberg says he wishes he had like kept the confidence to make it a musical.
Man.
He's like, it should have been a
Whoa.
musical.
Well, he's about to do West Side Story, or he already did it, or whatever. Okay, on to the episode. Stellar costuming in this one.
Yeah.
Felt like there was an extra focus on it, naturally with us shifting locations. Shouts out, Alana.
Yeah.
What an amazing character study. Really felt like a short film in action. Love seeing Atticus the romantic. Was nice to see him in that view, with us mostly having a hardened version of him until now. This one felt like more of a grounding episode despite all the spookiness taking place. It really let us take a breath and learn some more about Atticus and round out the world slash magic world a little more. Excited to see what comes next. Also, as a suggestion for, and that kind of bothered me too, the fact that like magic in this world seems to be like kind of everywhere and not isolated to this like group. And if there was, I think that if they were gonna bring it outside of this like group and this like these cult people and the way they're utilizing magic, and then used like the outside world, outside of the US, outside of whatever, also having magic as kind of like a reveal would have been cooler maybe, but I don't know, whatever.
Well, they've already talked about white people magic and African magic.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it made sense to be like, oh yeah, we're talking about ancestry and these like
and it's just
ancient,
real in this story
ancient cultural
world, yeah.
things. Yeah, I think it's all intertwined with that personally.
But also like Ruby was like, magic is real.
What did
like,
we
she was
say to
really
make Brett laugh so hard? What's going on?
What happened, Brett?
I
Want to share it with the
you
class?
said West Side Story, and then I just started playing the song Tonight from West Side Story in my headphones, and it really crescendoed at a really funny moment.
All right.
I was like, I have to hear it, or it's gonna be stuck in my head.
I'm glad you did.
I love
Brett.
West Side Story so much.
Anyway, also as a suggestion for possible next show.
Oh.
There are hella episodes, but I'd love to see Mad Men be the next first time watch, as it's one of my favorites. John Hamm is a great replacement for Justin Theroux's Peni.
That's
I
true.
mean depth as an actor. Love y'all. Much love from the Maritimes, Tyler.
Wait, who is this? Tyler
Lifford.
Whoever this is the same person who just mentioned the costuming?
Yes.
This person is the most aligned with me. Tyler, let me tell you.
Alignment.
Let me tell you.
Are you a mad man?
I'm not particularly a Mad Men obsessed, but if we were to talk about it, like those costumes, I love era shit, and he's true. There are hot boys aplenty. Ooh, baby.
My thing is like
it's too long. That would take a year.
I also don't know if I want to do a show.
I've also given up on it twice.
So
I watch it twice.
I fully
I never
gave
finished.
up on it.
I never finished after 1960. I think like 61, 62. I didn't see yet.
I much prefer a show, or at least deep diving into a show that has like supernatural elements or sci-fi elements. At least there's more. I don't know. There's more depth.
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
Kanan Mackey or Cannon.
Wow, get it
sends an
straight,
email.
Steve.
I don't know. It's either or. It starts with a K.
Didn't you say Kanan, or is that someone else?
I don't know. I could have.
That's a rapper.
That sounds like something I'd say. Hello, everyone. Going to keep this pretty short. I just had one thing to say. I'm not really one to kink shame, but I think we can all agree that Korean tentacle porn is way weirder than Japanese tentacle porn. Thanks for your time, Kanon. Hashtag Kumiho yes. Hashtag Judy Garland maybe. By the way, that audio that played during that scene when they're arriving at the shaman's place.
Oh, yeah, what was it?
It was Judy Garland. It was an interview with Judy Garland.
No way.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
Yeah, me too.
That's great that you said that.
Yeah. Daniel the Echo Spider sends an email saying, "Not my glasses. Hi there, all. Another great episode. Lots of sexy time. Also a cameo by Hero's friend from Heroes, played by James Kyson.
Amen.
The moment where she lost access to her movie theater really got me, since I love the movies and I haven't been able to go in months. Same here. Same.
Dude, there's a drive-in theater like 30 minutes from us.
Oh, you gotta go all the time.
It's got like 4 screens, and one of them was like, we're gonna be playing E.T., and then on the other screen we're gonna be playing Tenet.
What the fuck? Dude.
And Jamie was like, let's go see E.T. And I was like, yeah, I think E.T. is the move there.
Yeah, but you gotta see
weird
Tenet
way.
also.
Wait, so have you been to a drive-in yet, Brett?
I talked to Brett
I'm
about
from
this.
Florida.
Yeah.
Alana.
Is that, I don't know
from
what,
Central Florida.
does that mean yes?
We do drive-ins in Central Florida.
Oh, because I had a debate with my friend over if you have a big TV, is it better to go to a drive-in or just to watch it at home? Because
so here's the thing.
It's dependent, right?
When I was a teenager, there was nothing better on this planet than rolling into a drive-in with a girl you had a crush on, or a car full of friends, and just not having to worry about just talking shit and having fun, and you're on your own little space seeing a movie. So there is like a nostalgia element to it for me.
Yeah.
So I would be hard pressed to give a an answer that's like non-biased.
Well,
I think
sounds like good reasons to go if you can have a car full of friends or if you can have like a romantic moment.
I think there's a difference between also people who are bothered by people talking and distracting you during a movie and people who cannot handle a distraction whatsoever.
Huh?
I think the difference.
I feel like I'm both of those people.
I think the difference.
Depending on the movie.
Oh, really? That's interesting. What a wild card.
I can also be both of those people. Dude, if it's a movie I worked on, you better shut the fuck up.
I can only be okay with talking through a movie if no one who's watching it, if everyone's seen it, and it's not ruining an experience for someone who's never seen it.
Yeah.
And if I guess that's it. If everybody's seen it and it's no one's first time, then have a great time. And that's my final thing about the drive-in.
Wait, how is that a thing
You
about
have
the
to have
drive-in?
already seen it.
You're talking about seeing movies with friends. There's nothing to do. It could be at a home or a drive-in.
Because the drive-in is a distracting experience. It's like car brake lights blinking and like loud sounds outside your car, and
that's not what I would say is the problem with drive-ins. That's interesting.
I'm not saying that's the problem with it. I'm just saying that's one of the problems with it. Like for me, it's like if you're playing a movie I've seen a million times, let's fucking go to the drive-in. That's a fun time.
Yeah, I think drive-ins are for movies you've already seen, or for like very much comedies or very much like absurdly rom-coms. I don't think it's for movies that are like very serious, and it should be for horror movies, but if the horror movie is very dark, like visually, literally, like most are in the 21st century, it might be rough.
Yeah.
Because we really can't see details and stuff at those.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I like, we used to do, at my old house, we had a big house and we'd have as many people as we could cram in the house. Every Tuesday, we'd have Horror Movie Tuesday.
Ooh,
it was a
that's
double
fun.
feature. And we ran it through September and October. And
What the
you would
heck
just
is
bullshit
this?
through
I love
both
it.
movies. This was like years and years and years ago. This is when I still had like 4 roommates. But it was like people had never seen Chopping Mall. I did like a Chopping Mall and Deathbed double feature. And no one had seen either of them. And we just talked through them. And it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah, see, I'd be
You're just talking
bothered by that, I think. Especially if I was like,
you guys in Deathbed?
Especially if it was like, you guys have to see this.
Yeah.
Like if
you have to listen. If somebody says that, you know what that means.
Yes, exactly.
We watched Shopping Mall and Deathbed. Everybody started leaving, and as everyone was leaving the door, Chris McCaleb came walking up with a 6-pack of beer under each arm, and he's like, "Did I miss it?" And I was like, "We can watch Deathbed again."
Chris McCaleb's gonna come into the last episode.
He's
of this
gonna do the
show
same
like
thing
that.
on this show. Have 2 6-packs and walk right in.
Dude, we could do Horror Movie Tuesdays via Zoom or the PlayStation
love it.
Network. Let's do it. All right, if it's possible. All right, let's finish Daniel's email. Let's finish the rest of the emails.
Okay.
Question: does the creature inhabiting her body cause her to just blurt out spoilers? 'Cause rude.
Huh?
Because
that
she
he's
spoiled
gonna
the Count of
die.
Monte
Yeah.
Cristo.
No, it's because she says he's gonna die. I thought.
No, she spoiled the Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, okay.
Because he was like, "Can you read the end of the book to me?
Yeah.
I'm almost done." And then
No,
she
I
just
remember
spoils
the
whole
scene.
end
I
of it.
remember the scene. I'm not just arguing about if.
Well, no,
that's
I'm
what
just
he's
doing it for
referring
the
to.
audience too, in case they weren't sure what we were talking about. We're on a podcast, Alana. Did you know that?
Nope.
Israel Chavez Lopez sends us an email,
I don't give a fuck, Becca Goo.
and he says this email is kind of long, but please read it. There's juicy stuff.
Merkin.
Hello, BB boys and summer girl. Ecuadorian boy Israel here. This episode might be my favorite of the series. There are so many different themes, and all of them are incredibly well developed. I find it so interesting that as a Hispanic man, I can relate 100% with G.A. I grew up as a solitary kid, finding refuge on American culture, thinking they are what I have to aspire to be, just to slowly find out that just as everything else in the world, they are neither heroes or villains, but an entire spectrum in the middle. Here in Ecuador, we consume a lot of American culture. Every cartoon I watched as a kid, every movie I watched as a teen, every game I've played, to the point that I know more about the stuff from the US than my own country. Due to this abundance of US media, most people see the US military as the biggest heroes in the world. But then when you do your research, you realize that they also made some sketchy stuff. Even here in my own country, they have a Navy base. They helped a lot by giving humanitarian aid and reducing the crime on the area. But at the same time, we heard horrible stories from rape in rural communities to influence on the country's government. I hope I didn't get any of you mad with this. I love the U.S. Oh, please, man.
We agree.
We're upset at the U.S.
We
right
agree
now, so.
100% with what you're saying.
You have always been an example for us, especially people like you guys. Oh, that's very sweet. But I like that this show sheds some light on the untold side of American history, the ugly stuff, because this helps us be more critical about the past in order to not make the same mistakes in the future. Love you guys. Sorry for the long email. Please be safe and keep wearing that mask.
Amen. That was a worth it email.
Yes.
I'm very happy.
Well said,
we
my friend.
completely agree. And it's such a weird thing. The concept you brought up, the like reality of that, does that blow anyone else's mind constantly? I'm constantly being blown by that.
What, you mean that like all movies from the U.S. that feature the military is about how great they are?
Well,
and how
not
they're heroes
specifically
and
that.
shit?
No, I'm just always being mind blown by how American media culture has infiltrated so many places around the world and is so dominant.
Right.
And in America, we don't have much of another country's media that's dominant here. Like,
no,
Netflix just started putting some like in this past like 3 years, they started putting Korean dramas on and started putting some Bollywood movies on. And I'm like, whoa, we get to access these now? It's only like 2016 until they started actually allowing them on a public platform in the US, like accessible.
Well, yeah, and Parasite won Best Picture at the Oscars. Like, we're starting to be slowly more exposed to other countries, other cultures, art.
Sure, but the more
way.
Yeah, but the shocking part about it is how exposed other countries are.
Yeah.
Regardless of how exposed we are. I mean, it says a lot about us.
Well, it's because of the Hollywood machine pumping out movies and cinema and all that stuff for
Cinema Toast Crunch.
It's just a machine that pumps out. That's their industry, you know.
When I was it strikes me especially because I'm telling another story, but
Cinema Man.
Because when I was a Cinnamon, when I was little, my dad lived in Thailand when I grew up, and I would go spend summers there and stuff. But I remember when I was 3 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, spending summers there, and he would be being a classic dad and just being busy doing his shit, and I would just be being raised by the TV, that whole concept where like a kid's at home watching TV the whole time. That was me when I was in Thailand a lot of the time, and I was watching American television the whole time. It just was mostly in Thai, but I was watching like my favorite shows like Land Before Time, and the cereals I was eating were like
Lucky Charms and shit.
Well, no, I like Rice
Honey
Krispies.
Nut Cheerios.
But the Crispy Boys were there. And so, like, it was so...
Snapcracker Pro.
The Crispy Brothers.
Snapcracker Pair.
The Crispy Boys. Ooh, that's a good deep dive into
a good
Snap,
deep
Crackle,
dive.
Pop.
But anyway, just like that, you don't have that experience anywhere else. Even though, like, Bollywood is a huge media industry, you don't have that experience in places like Thailand. You just have the American one. Like, it is so unique and weird. Yeah, it always boggles my mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think
strange.
we pump out a lot of content here, and it's like the hub of
content hub, but like also media kind of controls the world. So
sure. Final email here.
Good time for the music to stop.
The final email comes from Roberto Abril. And he says, hello, boys, girl, and guest.
Oops. We shed
hello.
tears.
Chris McCaleb, if you could just respond to this man.
Any second now. I was glad to hear that you guys liked at least one of the clips I sent last week, the Cock-a-Doodle-Doo clip.
Yay!
I was going to get some more clips, but after watching the first 15 minutes of this episode, I realized that most of the dialogue was probably going to be in Korean, so why bother? I can't wait to see if you guys were able to find any clips for the episode. I did, however, manage to get a clip from the first few minutes, and I hope y'all find it as amusing as I did. See attached. Clips aside, this was probably my favorite episode of the season so far. I was glued to have the mystery of the Korean woman calling Tick unsolved, and I hope we get to see more of Ji-ah before the season ends. I guess that explains why we see Ji-ah as a red alien in the opening sequence of episode 1. Oh yeah, because of the communist, yeah. Foreshadowing to her ending up covered in blood after making 99 men come, aka my favorite song by Nena. Yeah, that's good. Good one.
What? I don't get
99 Red Balloons, you know that song?
Oh, I don't know who made it.
Oh.
Oh.
Do you guys feel weird being on the wrong side of history about this episode? Or?
I feel kind of like you did at the end of Leftovers. Based on the preview, I'm hyped for the next episode. P.S. Was I the only one that was getting strong lesbian vibes from Ji-ah and her friend? I honestly thought they were having a secret affair, and that was why her family lost respect.
I'm going to be honest, I think you were the only one.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I mean, I'm the only one amongst us, anyway. For all we know.
Maybe, yes.
All right, you guys ready for this clip?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
It's called Yahoo. Is
I had
the
it
one
half
we got
right.
already?
It's the one I got, yeah.
Oops.
What are you playing?
That's the music we play. Oh, it's not working, I guess.
That's all. Oh.
Yeah, it's not working.
Well, is it the same clip?
It might be. Let's just play our clip.
Let's play it.
I think I still like the first episode better than any of them so far.
The first is the best still for me.
The first really is fuck, we're in for a ride. I don't know, whatever.
I really liked the last episode.
Yeah.
But I'd have to rewatch the first one.
Yeah.
I said, this would be great as a feature. I think
so too. Mm-hmm. And I always love a good short film in anything. Like Leftovers had a lot of good short
Can you spit it out this time?
in the series. And I just feel like it's best when they work really well thematically, or when they work really well to integrate into the main storyline. And I just feel like I wanted it to be tighter. But I will revisit this episode once the whole season is done, especially if we get more of these kind of side story situations. But I really just want to see what's going on with Tick and Letty and all those characters. I'm just excited to get back to those kids and see what's up with Hippolyta in the next episode. All right. Well, anyway, closing thoughts, anybody?
Yeah, I guess we're committing to Hippolyta.
Well, she did say it.
Hippolyta.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm glad we got that settled.
Yeah, it's settled.
Alana?
I really like this episode as a standalone. I wish I had a little bit more emotional absorb in its presence in the series. And that's about all. And I love you. And give me more good costumes, please. Love you. Bye.
All right. Well, I'm very stoked for the next episode, so please join us next time on the show. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel where we put the video version of the show up, youtube.com/thevalleycast. And I guess that's it. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We tweet things sometimes. And follow Alana and Brett if you want. There's good stuff there too. And that's it.
I tweeted something.
Brett tweeted something, guys.
This week.
Brett,
I told people I'd tweet. I tweeted something.
You look tonight.
Shit.
like you're in a boy band. And I think it's a little
I'm
bit
working
because
on
of
it. I gotta rep the little bit of Lakers. Did you guys see that buzzer beater 3-pointer to win the game by Anthony Davis?
I couldn't believe it.
Didn't see
I
any
saved
of
it to
that.
the end of the podcast. It was amazing. Amazing.
I couldn't believe when Johnson took a 3-pointer right on the floor. All right. Thank you guys for watching, listening, what have you. We'll catch you next time on The First Time Show. Bye-bye.